Bye-bye, Ron. He is out, O-U-T, out. And he gave a little speech about it. I want you to see this because you see how he's pivoting back sort of to Trumpville. But is it going to stick? I see him maybe sitting the next few years out, except in Florida. I think he's got a good future in Florida. We can talk about it. But first, take a look. Ron DeSantis pulling out ahead of New Hampshire. I mean, this is historic, guys. Absolutely historic. We're going to know our winner in early March. We may know our winner by tomorrow. I think we know our winner. But anyway, let's go to it.
Resources if we don't have a clear path to victory. Accordingly, I am today suspending my campaign. I'm proud to have delivered on 100% of my promises, and I will not stop now. It's clear to me that a majority of Republican primary voters want to give Donald Trump another chance. They watch his presidency get stymied by relentless resistance, and they see Democrats using lawfare this day to attack him. Well, I've had disagreements with Donald Trump, such as on the coronavirus pandemic and his elevation of Anthony Fauci. Trump is superior to the current incumbent, Joe Biden. That is clear. I signed a pledge to support the Republican nominee, and I will honor that pledge. He has my endorsement because we can't go back to the old Republican guard of yesteryear, a repackaged form of warmed-over corporatism that Nikki Haley.
So you see, we're setting the stage here for a division in the Republican Party that so desperately needs to come together. I mean, guys, it's about time. It's one of the reasons why I just look at DeSantis and say, you know what was he hoping for? I mean, that was just never going to happen. He was running to the right of Trump, for goodness sakes, and he doesn't have the je ne sais quoi. I mean, he's got the Harvard thing, the Yale thing too, by the way. He's got all that, but he doesn't have the personality really to carry it through. On top of that, he didn't have his own money, and I kind of like it. Right? Don't you? When somebody else is providing the funding for the campaign themselves or turning to the people of the United States of America with these small donations. I mean, that grassroots effort is really pretty powerful, pretty legit. And so it's one of the reasons why I just think some of these sort of more bought and paid for seeming people, not that he necessarily is, we don't want to totally ding him. I do think he does still have a future, don't get me wrong, in the Republican Party. I just think that this was not his time. So I question, like, why would you run? Knowing it's not your time. I mean, Chris Christie, he should have run way back when instead of Mitt Romney. That was his time. He totally blew it. But you also have to recognize, and I think Ted Cruz did this beautifully. Ted Cruz knew, you know what, there's no chance I'm going to be able to go up against the big kahuna. So why even try? All it's going to do is divide the party. And you don't want to be divided right now because you know what, guys? It's us versus Joe Biden and the Democrats and everything that goes with that. You know what I'm talking about. And so at some point, they're all going to have to come together and coalesce around Donald Trump. And I'd hate to see Nikki Haley out there as a never Trumper. But she may also think, well, what's in it for me? And that's, you know, Donald Trump will have to figure that one out. But as you just heard him, he said, well, it's not going to be VP. And listen to this. He's also making a similar comment. He sat down with my former colleague over at Fox, Lawrence Jones, to say that, yeah, it's not going to happen for Ron either. Watch.
A possibility, since you say it's water under the bridge, he can be vice president or serve in your cabinet. He hasn't asked for any of those positions, I don't think yet.
No,
but is there a possible of the joining of forces?
Well, it's probably unlikely, but, you know, I have to be honest, everything's a possibility, but I think it's highly unlikely. I have a lot of great people. And I have great people that have been with me right from the beginning.
What is your message?
Okay, highly unlikely. He says that Ron DeSantis is going to be it. But we'll see. I mean, it's a little tricky because they're both from Florida. Keep that in mind. It's one of the reasons we talked about Byron Donaldson. He was on the show the other day. You know, I love the guy because he actually understands the economy. He understands finance. He has a background in that. Was an asset manager, actually, before he got into politics. And that's a rare and refreshing thing. So Byron Donaldson is someone we've talked about as a potential vice president. Donald Trump saying no on Nikki. Probably not. Unlikely on Ron DeSantis. So who else is out there?